Hello and welcome. It's another episode of the ProView Network Sports Report. Aaron Rivera along with Steve Davis again. Steve, your hair's looking fresh and clean.
Well, I got there's standards for ProView, and I was getting a lot of deal that I'm looking old and older than I already am. So I'm a young man today. I'm excited about all the basketball games we've done.
Yeah, we've done a ton of games already. So we knocked off 12 in the first day, 12 in the second day. So that's already 24 games of Metro that have been brought to you here on ProView Networks. Even more when you add in the Game Vision games. And I mean, it's been an exciting Metro tournament so far. Not a ton of massive bracket busters that we've seen so far, Steve, but I mean, some great games so far, and we're definitely seeing high-quality performances in the Metro tournament.
No, truthfully, you look at some of those deals, and I have to give my hat down. We did a little deal in your head because the Hope deal. I just you took Hope over West Mesa, so I'm one down right now. So.
One down. Well, so let's go ahead and take a look at those brackets right now. We'll go into them a little bit more, but just so people know what's coming up this weekend is we're going to be covering the Metro brackets, or the Metro semifinals, the finals. That's Friday, that's Saturday. We'll take a look at those brackets in just a moment when our team of directors back there can get it, but so first off, this is the girls bracket. As you can see there, Sandia and Kirtland Central are going to be facing off. We're also going to be seeing Rio Rancho and the Hobbs Eagles coming in. And, these are some of the teams that we kind of expected when me and you were picking on your show earlier this week, Steve. This is about what we said, that Hobbs Volcano was kind of the big question here. We can go ahead and drop that.
No, just leave it up for a second. I'm going to give you some kudos. I mean, you picked Kirkland Central over La Cueva Bears. I picked La Cueva. I'm down 2, and then you also said Rio Rancho is going to make a great showing in this tournament too. So, which I agreed with too. So, but now I'm down in each bracket. So
yeah, well, and
I'm not looking very good. So
well, the thing is, Steve, I mean, it was a tight one for the Rio Rancho Rams and the Albuquerque High Bulldogs. 47-44 for that Rio Rancho squad. That's not how they want to win games. They don't want to be playing in the 40s. They want to be playing in the 50s, the 60s. They want to be pushing numbers because that's a fast-paced team that wants to do a lot of scoring with that whole team. But Albuquerque High made it interesting. But yeah, I do get that one. Let's.
Let me finish one with Kirtland Central. Their only loss is to Rio Rancho.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so this could be a good matchup on Friday night. So.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be a really interesting one. Obviously, two teams that won state last year. So the Kirtland Central Broncos, the 4A state champions. Sandia Matadors, the 5A state champions. Two teams that can press. Of course, two teams with a lot of weapons. That's the way that Kirtland Central built it. I think we have the highlights for that Kirtland-La Cueva game, right? Let's take a look at that one first. As the Kirtland Central Broncos took on the La Cueva Bears. Kirtland Central this is Volcano Hobbs. There it is. Kirtland Central Highland. So this was the very first day, so in the Highland Gym. Of course, we see Rebecca Neal. That is a member of the Highland Hornets. Neal, one of the strong players for that Highland team, kind of young group. Looking to get involved, but this is what you're going to see a lot of. Zoe Benali hitting from 3. The Kirtland Central Broncos are a perimeter attacking offense. Zoe Benali had a game in this one, Steve.
Long 3, nothing but net for Zoe Benali.
This is as good as it gets.
You see Highland here fighting it out. They're going to get a 3 of their own to bring that one down tight here in the opening quarter. As you know, Rebecca Neal, she's a part for that Highland squad in that 4A. They're going to need a lot of points out of a player like Rebecca Neal in there, as she was able to bring it tied. But the Kirtland Central Broncos, I mean, they're just a force. They've got Zoe Benali, Allison Sosi. When she comes back, I don't believe that she's been playing. Kristen Giniazzi, who's about to take this feed underneath, probably one of the best post players in girls, at the very least in girls 4A. But Zoe Benali, you know, we already mentioned it. We're going to be seeing a lot of highlights on her because she put a lot of points in. Here's Micaiah Ortiz on a transition play. I mean, this is tight, Steve. You don't expect to see the Highland Hornets fighting it in, but they're leading Kirtland here in the second.
Minutes play, first half.
They really are. I mean, this is...
Kwani with the Euro step.
This is actually fun for me to watch because I didn't see any of these games.
There she is. Kwani, she's going to dunk it.
And what a great job Ty's done with getting
And a
all
score,
the names.
just like in practice.
Yeah, our director, producer, Ty Metzger. And so at the start of the second, you see it's a nice and tight game here. Here's Allison Sosi. She missed a couple games earlier on, but you can always expect to see a player like her get big on there. Here's Elena Klani as Klani launches up. I mean, just the way that Kirtland Central's built, year in, year out, it's a team that's just going to keep coming in. Of course, this is the second Klani that's coming in the last couple of years. And Elena's doing just as good as her older sister, knocking down a couple of threes here. It was all Benali in the first half. Highland, though, even though they dropped down here by 17, they still would fight in a little bit. You see Peyton get back-to-back buckets. Brianna Payton for the Highland Hornets, but I mean, it's just so hard when everybody on the Kirtland Central Broncos can shoot from out wide. Here into the fourth, Rebecca Neal once again taking a look at her floating one in, but the Kirtland Central Broncos, Kaylin Cadman. I mean, what do you do with a team like that, Steve? If you're one of the teams in 4A, how do you shut down a squad like the Broncos where you see, I mean, everybody on that team can shoot from 3, and then you have a really strong post player in Kristen Giniazzi?
Well, in the newspaper this morning, if you read it, the coach is like, I didn't realize, I mean, he's downplaying that he's got a bench that can come in, and he got 8 people that can go play. He's like, I just thought we were playing well and didn't realize that you know, and then he goes, but then he slips up and he says basically, who do you guard? We don't run no offense for one player, so they don't have one. They're not depending on one person to score.
Well, and that's exactly what Coach Manning said to me at the Rio Rancho tournament. Is like, yeah, you know, one day it's going to be Klani, one day it's going to be Noki, one day it's going to be, you know, Allison Sosi. There's just so many strong players. All right, let's take a look at another game right now here on the ProView Sports Report. This one is going to be that Volcano Vista Hobbs game. So you actually saw this one, Steve, and I mean a pretty big battle early on.
Well, you know, talking to Coach Brown before the game and everything, there's a still this guy was unconscious the first.
Unconscionable, you mean? He put in a ton of points.
Yeah, he's like Hobbs. Aguino fell asleep and he goes and scores. But what a performance this young man put on in that first half. But, you know, think about Volcano. They just came off 2 losses, traveled, they got weighed in Sunday night, came in, and you could just tell that they were like a step slow in their warm-ups. They were just, you know, they were beat up from the road trip that they had.
Curious. Turubiates drops that one in, but we saw Kenyon getting involved. We saw David Lund. That's what you would expect to be the source for success for this Volcano Vista squad. I mean, yeah, they can shoot outside, but when they get their bigs involved, then all of a sudden that opens it up for Brown on the outside, and you know, whenever they're going to be shooting Gonzalez as well. But I mean, Hobbs right here leading 28-20. I don't think a lot of people had that one on their bingo.
Well, I think they were up 10 at half. Okay, you know, just with 41. But I'm just saying, it just
Turubiates with a big jam.
You know, in our halftime, you know,
picks up the different defensive attention by
halftime
everybody else. Pena got caught in the
I
air, out to
talked with
Turbiatos.
Sebastian,
Three,
basically
yes.
said,
Strokes another one.
we know, Coach Ross is talking about Volcanoes will come out in this third quarter, and here they come, and then
There's a
Aguino
three
just
for Big
takes over,
Smooth. That's his first.
go on an unbelievable run here in
Everybody's
this
exchanging
third quarter.
baskets.
We'll
That's
see,
really
oof,
uncharacteristic
the
for
almost
Volcano.
behind-the-back
Cillian
pass
off the
into
rim.
Evan
He's
Asilian.
fouled.
And I mean, that's the thing. When you
Great
have a player
pass
like
by
Kenyon
Aguino.
Aguino,
That's
we
something.
saw
That's
him
what
knock
Aguino
down the
did. He
three. We
ultimately
saw him with the
shot.
assist.
And
Here's
here
Aguino
comes
going
Big
to the
Smooth
basket.
right
He can do
down
everything.
Broadway.
He's not just a
Watch
big. He
him.
can literally do
Double.
everything for
Put it
you.
away, right
Here's
to
him getting a
Aguino.
steal.
Here comes
I mean,
Kenyon
the
in
highlight reels
transition
for
to
Big Smooth just
Asilian.
never seem to end as Asilian gets a highlight shot.
And I just want to make pain. Look at Brown, okay, over in the corner. They face
Runner,
guard.
yes, finger roll off the
And,
window. Scored
I
a
think
few
he had
rebound
his
plays.
best defensive game I've ever seen. He
Aguino
just
working
shut out
against
him.
There's a foul.
Abraham
I think
Pena in the
One,
second
a
half,
chance
He
yeah.
only scored like 4
Three-point
points,
play.
I think, or
And
so in the
that's
second
what he
half.
does. It just
Yeah, and this is that opening round. You see they're at Cibola High School. The Hawks used to playing at Cibola. Pretty good crowd in there, but Kenyon Aguino, I mean, there were some good highlight reels of him in that tournament that they played out in Arizona. You know, there was a ton of him playing against some of the top players in the league and just beating them. There's a nice outside feed to Ryan Gonzalez.
Three for Hodge, no.
Looks like a big one to finish it out, so the Volcano Vista Hawks would win that one 62-55 in that opening round. Here's Big Smooth.
Our main face guy, he's out there working full court, just facing the best players, making it hard for them. Definitely the top defender in the state. Appreciate it. Yes, sir.
I mean, Kenyon Aguino, always great at leading that team. 62-55 was that score. And, this is a Volcano Vista team that is on another mission, right?
Well, everybody's playing for second place. I'll just go out and play. And the only way you're going to beat Volcano, and my pregame from every time I do a game, is you got to attack him in the first half, get him on the bench, get him in foul trouble. But that's easier said than done.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's so smart. I mean, he knows when to attack, he knows when to make a foul, and very seldom does he go to the bench.
Oh, there's a reason why he's headed out to Division I. So we're going to go ahead and take a break right now. We'll be back in just a moment. You're watching the ProView Sports Report. Welcome back here, ProView Sports Report. We're glad you're with us. Aaron Rivera with Steve Davis. We're talking about the Albuquerque Metro Tournament going on all week long. ProView Sports covered 24 games already this week. We've got, 2 semifinals for boys and girls, so there's 4 right there, plus another 4 more. So 8 more games in the book. That means we're 2/3 of the way done.
32 games.
Yeah, 32 games, and we're 2/3 of the way done. So let's look at some of those games right now. I believe we've got one from last night's quarterfinals, the Volcano Vista Hawks and my Cibola Cougars. And Steve, this was tight early on. Here's Elijah Martinez. This is the guy that for the Cibola Cougars, there's your guy again. It was Jeremiah Ortiz a few years ago. Here's again Kenyon Aguino. I don't know how you can stop him, but Cibola's got good size in there.
I tell you, this first quarter was just back and forth, and it showed that this could be a really good game. And then, I mean, it was unbelievable. Just the presence we had with Green puts on a show in the first quarter too.
They got to have help.
Yeah, but I mean, certainly for Cougar fans out there, I mean, it's very, what's the word? It would create a lot of optimism to see Cibola being able to sit there and play toe-to-toe here. But then, how do you get through a guy like Aguino? He lays the big block in on Elijah Martinez. That's going to be a mismatch most of the time where Martinez would just slip right around him. And then this is why you got to be careful, because Elijah Martinez will burn you from deep. The Cougars going up right there. And then, you know, Volcano says, hey, here's three of our own. Hudson Brown with the big three. And when I see David Lund's name come up, I'm thinking jammers.
Oh, I called this. If you listen to he had it in his eyes. He's taking it coast to coast, and you know, and then they score on this out of bounds play. So, you know, it's with great efficiency during the games.
So Kenyon Aguino will be coming in underneath here. Somehow finds room, draws the foul, goes for the three-pointer.
And, this young man, he put
Critchlow?
Yes.
Well, and that's what, I mean, once they go to the half of this one, Cibola's not down very far.
Yeah, but then here's the thing. You know, they didn't use their timeouts. This is where the game got out of hand right here. You know, Volcano was like on an unbelievable
a little bit too much on his own
16-0 run, or I don't know what it was, but it just Aguino takes over, Lund takes over, and I think Gonzalez starts hitting some threes right here at the end.
See David Lund in open space. I see a man taking off for the basket. 42-26 here. Yeah, like right there before that second half, it looked like Cibola was going to be fighting in this one, that it was going to stay tight, but as you said, the run there for the Hawks.
And they want more. Watch this. This ain't over.
Hudson Brown, open elbow, tray ball, and yeah, they go to that half. What's that, 45-26?
19 points.
Defensively, we talked about a little bit. Maybe you guys used some of their aggression against them tonight.
Hudson Brown.
I mean, we were just trying to get our dog back. I mean, we haven't been playing well these last couple of games, and we just wanted to put our foot on the ground first and just go and get them. And yeah, we thought speeding teams up would just help us out and just pushing them to those hard floaters and jumpers.
How do you appreciate it? Thanks.
Thank you.
So the final score ended up being 76-37 there as the Volcano Vista Hawks advance off into the quarterfinals. Do we happen to have the Atrisco Sandia game? Nope. All right, here it is right here. And this one, Steve, I was at this one. Gad Harris had a huge day. So he starts off the game with the opening 8 points for the Sandia Matadors. There's him dropping in a three. And this is another team where, you know, a lot of people think they're the number 2 squad in the state. There's a good reason for it, as Gad Harris, you know, you have Gad Harris, you have Isaiah Brown, you have Thomas Adams. I mean, there's just a plethora of weapons there.
Well, I've got a report that was called just this morning. This might have been the best first half that they've seen Sandia play.
Can't leave out Zaire Diabage with that huge tomahawk. I mean, a great first half for them, but also they were just shutting Atrisco out. Now, so for Atrisco, they did bring in, as Aaron Lujan drops that lane, he was their best scorer all night. Aaron Lujan was the man who had to take it over. But Latavius Morris played a little bit of that first half, but you could tell it wasn't quite all there, so they ended up pulling him out. Here's Rashay Morris, who hit a big three as Atrisco was trying to come back here. Sean Baker hits the last points of this one. But the Sandia Matadors, I mean, would end up just running away with this one, 86-58 in that one. Atrisco, obviously, the big thing, if we're looking at what Coach Heredia's team has to do, you know, they got to get healthy. That's the biggest thing. With Latavius Morris, you want your best player healthy, but they also need to just find somebody else who can take over the game to take some of that pressure off of Latavius Morris.
Exactly. They're a different team without him and his leadership and all that. And they're young, though. They're sophomores.
Absolutely.
They're very young, and that's what people, you know, they get him healthy. They got to get him healthy for them to move forward in their district.
In their district. Well, and the thing for them, since they've moved out of District 1, they have a little bit I don't want to say an easier path, but most of the teams in their district are on a down year right now, whereas if they were sitting in District 1, they still would have had Volcano, Rio Rancho, who's on the come up, the Seabrook Cougars, who are on the come up right now as well. But we're going to talk a little bit more about the brackets for girls as well on the other side of these messages on the ProView Sports Report.
Gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican.
I'm David C. Chavis, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
Back here on the ProView Sports Report as it's the Metro basketball time. Aaron Rivera with Steve Davis. And, a couple more games, well, just one more game to get through when we're looking at the highlights. Let's switch over to the girls' side right now as the Volcano Vista Hawks taking on the Hobbs Eagles. Last year, the Hawks upset the Hobbs Eagles.
Pushing
and
forward,
early on,
outside,
it kind of looked like we might see something similar.
Yes.
Mila Espinosa, she's the player that it's kind of on at Volcano Vista. She gets 1-3. Volcano
Here's Zuniga
would
now.
turn
Bounce
this
pass.
one over to
Sterling.
Mojica. Hobbs, though,
And a wide open
I mean, they
layup
were
is
fighting
no good.
back.
Rebound,
Early on, it
Hargrove.
was
Still
all
no
Volcano
good.
Vista, but right
Floater
here,
again. This time it
Mojica
goes.
dropped down that one. The Hobbs Eagles are a team just like Kirtland that has so many weapons. Here's Mila Espinosa dropping the 3. And as they were getting ready to go to half, Espinosa drains another 3. Volcano goes into the half 25-22.
Well, we expected that, just a close game, close for here. Nothing surprised there.
But then the second half would happen, and the Hobbs Eagles would just start going on a run. Here's Brett Clay. We just saw Nakia Mojica drop one in. Here's Carolina Size comes in with a 3, and the Hobbs Eagles just blew up in the second half. Here's Aliana Armitage. I mean, everybody got involved for the Hobbs Eagles. They go on a huge run, outscoring Volcano Vista 12 to, 40-something? 67-37. Don't listen to the scoreboard on there was the final score in this one as the Hobbs Eagles advance along in. So I'm going to go ahead and just give you all the scores. Sandia girls beat Cleveland 72-40. Kirtland Central beat La Cueva 55-36. Rio Rancho Rams 47-44 over Albuquerque High School in the girls one. Again, that one was really tight. That Albuquerque team's looking very dangerous this year. Hobbs Eagles win 67-37. So that sets us up, Steve, for some interesting semifinals. So the Sandia Matadors and the Kirtland Central Broncos, they'll be playing at Sandia High School 5:15. That's a good time. If you are the Sandia Matadors, you got home court, you got a tough team, but you are going to be at home.
No, exactly. You're exactly right. And I tell you, get out and support. Get out and go watch these student athletes. Go. I think still, Sandia and Hobbs are going to be in the finals. But I tell you what, Kirtland Central going to make a run right here. So Sandia better watch out. So.
Yeah, Sandia's got to keep an eye. And so on the other side, it's the Hobbs Eagles, the Rio Rancho Rams. Obviously, Hobbs is a team that loves to press, just like the Rio Rancho Rams. So that's the sort of stuff that they like to see. That's going to be another exciting one. That will also be at Sandia at 7 o'clock. On the boys' side, in the finals, Rio Rancho beat Hope 97-56. Cleveland beat La Cueva 69-50. Volcano Vista 76-39 over Cibola. Hobbs 63-39 over Valley. Sandia beats Atrisco 86-58. West Mesa 75-72 over El Dorado. So on the boys' side, Steve, that the semifinals, I believe you'll be there, I'll be there at La Cueva High School. Cleveland versus Sandia first. That's a super interesting matchup because the Cleveland Storm, well, we haven't gotten a ton of opportunities to see them.
Well, it's my first time. My first time. It's going to be so. I did golf with Coach on last Zach Cole last week, and he said he would see us on Friday. I said, the only way you're going to see me if you get in the day. Well, I guarantee you're going to be there. So,
well, his guarantees worked in that Sandia side.
And then I'll make a point real quick. Is that look at that, 3 teams out of 1 district in the finals.
Well, and the only reason that we couldn't have had 4 is because Volcano had to play against Cibola right there. I mean, if they were in the...
so you're sure going to be they would beat Sandia?
I am a Cougar homer. I am a Cougar homer,
okay.
So there's
I give you that. I mean, there's a lot of ifs in what you just said.
But then the other one, the Volcano Vista Hawks, the Rio Rancho Rams, you're talking about that one district, that's District 1, the Champions District for the last few years. That's another one for Volcano Vista, a team that can beat presses, a team that can do anything, taking on a Rio Rancho squad that's 10 deep, 11 deep. What do you think is going to happen in that one, Steve?
Volcano.
Fair enough.
Like I said, and it's nothing new. Everybody's playing for second place.
Well, we'll see how those ones shake out. You can catch all of those games right here on ProView Sports. Go to GameVision.io for all of the Albuquerque Metro Tournament. Again, those are at 5:15 and 7 o'clock tomorrow night. Girls are at Sandia, boys are at La Cueva. Then we'll have the finals all day on Saturday. Want to thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks for coming on again, Steve. Lots of great basketball headed your way right here on ProView Sports.